Hey everyone, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some popular French oracle decks that I feel are very underrated. And that's mostly because they're not well known of in the English speaking world. So I came across them a couple of months ago. The reason why I came across them was because last year I started getting into French oracle decks like the Grand Jeu de Mademoiselle Lenormand. I've done a few videos on this deck. It is a great deck and a lot of people are intimidated by it because they think it's really complicated, but it's not. And I won't go through this deck in this video because I've done other videos about it already, but that's how I came across it. Like opened a doorway into the French cartomancy world. And I came across these and a few others like L'Oracle Bleu, and I did a video on this one, the Oracle of Mirrors, L'Oracle des Miroirs. Great decks as well. So in this video, I'm going to go over the three most popular ones that I've gathered. Like, there may be a different opinion on which is the most popular one or whatever, but I think these are the three most popular ones in France. And if you're from France or if you speak French and you have a different opinion on this, please let me know. But yeah, this is what I think are the most popular ones. So I could be wrong on that. I don't know, but they are a lot of fun. Let's just put it that way. I actually heard about the Baleen Oracle last year because of Sylvie Steinbach. Sylvie Steinbach is a French author, but she writes books in English. Like she has translated, or she was one of the first authors to come out with an English Petite Lenormand book. So some of you may be familiar with her work. Let me just see if I can find her Petite Lenormand book. So in 2007, she came out with this, The Secrets of the Lenormand Oracle. And this book is probably the reason why the Petite Lenormand became so popular in the following years. So she kind of brought it out to the forefront of the English-speaking world. And she has, in 2018, wrote a book on the Baleen Oracle. And it's very well written. It's very comprehensive. It goes over the original meanings and her own interpretation, her own insights. It goes over the astrological symbols on the cards. It's just like if you want to get into the Baleen Oracle, you need to get this book. It is available on Amazon, and she also has some online courses on the Baleen Oracle as well as the Petite Lenormand, which I've taken a couple of her Petite Lenormand courses. They are really, really well done as well. So with that being said, we'll go over the Baleen Oracle. And I'll just do a quick flip through, a little bit of history. So this deck was created by Edmond. He was a famous seer in France in the 1800s. And he created this deck for his own personal use. It wasn't until the I want to say 1950s, I think, or maybe earlier, where it was rediscovered and eventually snatched up by Grimaud, who reprinted it in 1961. And it is still, to my understanding, it is still in publication. Like Grimaud still prints this deck. And this is a more recent edition by Grimaud. It doesn't tell me the date that this deck was printed, this particular one, but it does have an email or a website here. So I'm guessing that this is like a more recent publication than 1961, right? So you can shop around on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, and perhaps find a good copy of the Baleen Oracle. They also make more modern versions by different publishers. But I recommend going going for more of an original deck like this one as your starter deck. So there's 53 cards, including this blue card, which is like the magnetic card. Originally, the deck did not have that card. It was incorporated into it afterwards. I think when Grimaud published it is when they started including the blue card. So yeah, this is in French, but the booklet, what I do with the booklet, I just put it away, is in French, English, and German. So it has all you need to get started, really. Like it does go through the card definitions in English, a few spreads, a little bit of the history of the card, or the cards. So, I mean, it's to get you started, right? But again, you want to get Sylvie Steinbach's book if you really want to get into this deck. So I have played around with it, and so I'm not very experienced with it just yet, but the readings that I've done so far are very accurate and different than tarot and different than Lenormand, although there are similarities. Yeah, so every deck communicates in its own way, and I do appreciate how this deck communicates. I guess I'll go over the card size first. So the cards themselves are a little bit smaller than tarot. So I'll just show you my Rider-Waite US Games standard deck. And as you can see, it's a bit smaller. So which is good. I love smaller decks. If for tarot, for example, if I have the choice between the regular or the mini size, I'll always go for the mini size, just because I like the ease of shuffling. The cardstock is really good. Grimaud publishes great cards. Like Grimaud is one of the most popular card publishers in France. So they make really good cards, is what I will say. So yeah, there's 53 cards. And I'll just quickly flip through. So we have the astrological symbol in the top right corner. So here's, there's 7 of them. 7 different ones. And then we have this is the male consultant card. The female consultant card is very similar. And the only other card that does not, or the only other cards that do not have the astrological symbols are, of course, the blue card and the key, the card of destiny, which will show up unless we've already passed it. And I feel like a lot of the more modern French oracle creators have maybe, I won't say copied, but gained inspiration from this deck, because there are some similar cards, such as like the pyramid, and off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but there are other cards in here that I've found similar cards in the newer oracle decks. Now these cards are, here's the key card. These cards are like Lenormand, like the Petite Lenormand in some ways, but they are way, way deeper. They are more like the tarot version of Lenormand, if you wish. Here's another one that I've seen in a more modern French oracle deck, the Cloister. And here's the pyramid. That one you will see a lot. The black cat. And here's the female consultant card. Very rudimentary images, not for everyone, but they grow on you. Actually, it kind of adds to the intrigue of this deck, I find. Like, I'm not turned off by the rudimentary artwork. I find it appealing. Yeah, it just adds to the uniqueness of this deck. So again, it was created for Edmond for his personal use. I guess that's why he didn't put too much effort into the artwork. I doubt he ever imagined that it would become famous. And it wasn't until well after his death that it did. He also created another deck. It was, sorry, no, I'm confusing the two. So the reason why it's named Baleen Oracle, or the Oracle Baleen, is because, so Edmund was the guy who made the deck, and Baleen was the one who rediscovered the deck. And Baleen also came out in the 1900s at some point with a tarot deck called the Grand Baleen. It's a Marseille-based tarot deck. So okay, I could be totally wrong here, but I don't believe Edmond had anything to do with that tarot deck. He might have, though. Baleen might have rediscovered both. So I have to look into it further. I feel silly for giving false information. So it will be there on the internet and I will find it. So yes, this one is one of the most popular oracle decks in France. And the next one, L'Oracle G, I was very much on the fence about. I felt that I didn't need this deck because I have a lot of Lenormand decks, and I thought that maybe that this was too similar to Lenormand, and I didn't necessarily like the artwork in this deck. I found it really childlike, but it really grew on me, and now I do not have any regrets whatsoever. This deck is a lot of fun to read with, and so simple and so accurate, and it is great for beginners and advanced card readers, but it is great for beginners to start off because of the fact of the simplicity of it. This is one of the top cards that came in. I've gone through another deck recently that came from Editions Trajectoire, and I showed how sturdy the box was. Like, seriously, this box is sturdy. And all of the smaller decks that, like this one that comes from this company, they include satin pouches, which I find is a really, really nice touch. So it's just like a really nice thing to get in the mail, and you look forward to it. So this deck comes with a very basic booklet. It's better than a little white booklet, but it's not like comprehensive. But I don't feel like with this deck you need a comprehensive book. From my understanding, this deck was printed, the first publication of this deck was like in the 80s or the 90s. It was very popular. It went out of print for a long time, and it just recently, as of 2021, was picked up by Editions Trajectoire, who reprinted it, thankfully, because if you wanted to get the original deck, you had to pay a high price off of eBay. Like, you had to find it on eBay and pay hundreds of dollars. So that's what often happens when a deck goes out of print, is people take advantage of the rarity and sell it at like ridiculous prices. So this particular edition, the cardstock isn't that great. Like, it's not terribly flimsy, but it could be a little bit better. But I'm not that picky. But some of you may find it a little bit, like, I find it really easy to riffle shuffle. So I'm not complaining at all. But yeah, like, some of you might prefer a little bit of a thicker cardstock. I really think it's okay. Like, it's just fine. So there's 61 cards in this deck, and you read these cards in combination with each other, similar to Lenormand, and some of them are reversible, like the spider. If it's in the upright position, it's more negative than if it's in the reverse with the moon on the top. So I thought that was neat. This card, oh boy, so very simple, right? Like, a 2-year-old could draw this. Like, it's just, you know, this was kind of a turn off for me, but now it's actually a turn on for me. I don't know why. It's just because it really is so simple to read with. Like, this basically means crowds of people, networking, real estate. That's what it means. So yeah, or the city, right? So this one is the 3 moons, and it's talking about fast timing, like within a month. And this is chance, like games of hazard, or sorry, games of luck. So like gambling and stuff, the numbers. And then there's also season cards. There's 4 season cards. All of them contain the same branch with different stages. So this is autumn, and it could be used for timing, or it could be used to describe a situation. Like springtime, for example, would be renewal. Winter would be the situation is frozen, sort of thing. So I find that in a lot of French oracle decks, they include the 4 seasons, which I find is a really nice touch. And the little booklet really gives you a few keywords for every card. Let me just grab that booklet again. So I've already translated it with Google Translate. It's very easy to do. You just take a picture of it with your phone and it automatically translates it for you. So it's not a big deal at all. So easy to do. I mean, this is marketed towards French people, so they did not include English, and that's fine. I like how the icons on the side are in color, and it tells you what the reversal means as well. Not all of them are reversed. Or not all of them have reversed meanings, rather. Only a select few. And, oh, the people cards. That's why I got this book out. There's 8 person cards. Quite a few. And I'll just quickly go. So there's the young girl, the young boy, the mother, the father, the consultant female, the consultant male, and then the older female and the older gentleman. And if you reverse them, this person will have lighter colored hair, blonde colored hair, or dark hair. So I thought that was so unique. And this is a very, like the Baleen Oracle, it's very balanced. There's a good amount of positive and negative cards. It's not a fluffy oracle. It's not sugar-coated. I like that about oracles. I refuse to get the fluffy roses and unicorns oracles that are like cotton candy sweet. You know, like I don't like sugar-coated reality. I want to see the truth, even if it's harsh. So, yeah. Now, there are some symbols that are similar to Lenormand, like the stork. I don't know if we passed the stork already. And the sun, but they sometimes can have different meanings. Like here's the stork. So the stork basically in this deck, it means pregnancy or birth or the birth of a situation. It doesn't necessarily mean change for the better. There is another card like the pyramid means change for the better or improvements. So in this deck, stork is about pregnancy, basically. And if it's in reverse, it means that the pregnancy could be a dangerous one. So there are variations, but if you wanted to, you could read the stork like in Lenormand both ways, right? It's ultimately up to you. And the gift card, I really enjoy because in the upright position, it means like you will receive a gift, like a donation or a gift or something. But in the reverse, it means that you must give, you must be generous. So I like that. And then here we have the Justice card, the Money, the Lynx, which is about independence and also infidelity. So it's like the opposite of the dog. The dog is about loyalty and fidelity and friendship, whereas the lynx can be about infidelity, right? And independence. Like a cat is very independent, whereas a dog is more, you know, dependent on human companionship, right? So there's the Spring card. And then this one is also a reversible one. So in the upright, it's not as bad as in the reverse. It's talking about road accidents. So this one would be more severe. And here we have Winter. So the older lady, again, the hair color. And yeah, there's a lot of people cards, which I didn't necessarily like too much, but they hardly come up in my readings. So it's not, like, that's why I don't like Kipper, for example. It's just that there's so many people cards in Kipper, and it throws me off, but I haven't found it to be a big deal in this deck. There are 61 cards, so, you know, if you shuffle correctly, it shouldn't be a problem. If you shuffle and focus properly and you're doing your card reading correctly, then yeah, the right cards are going to come up, as they should. So that was L'Oracle G, a very popular and fun, I want to say fun, it's a lot of fun. Like, I am going to use that deck quite a bit. I can see myself doing that. Now the next deck, I'm going to run out of battery, I just noticed. So I'm going to have to do this quickly, is the Oracle of the Triad. Oracle de la Triade. And it comes with a booklet, rather, that is in English and French. So that is very, very helpful. This is, I think, from the 90s as well. And I don't know if it'll be in print much longer. So if you can find yourself a copy on eBay, that's where I got mine. I would, and if you like the look of this deck, you think you might like this deck, it probably won't be available for much longer. So I would grab yourself a copy. Very, again, non-fluffy oracle deck, which I love. It has like a lot of Egyptian theme going on. And it does, like I said, it comes with an English booklet, but if you want to go deeper with these cards, I suggest getting this book. It is in French, but again, don't let that deter you. This is a very extensive, comprehensive book, and you won't regret it. It goes over everything, and it also goes over the timing and different spreads. And yeah, so I've already started to translate some of it, like the timing part here. Each card has timing significance. It's based on the numerical value of the cards. And it has a chart here that tells you the months and everything, and the value of the card and everything. And it goes over each card definition very, very thoroughly. So very, very helpful book. I still have to finish translating it. I'm quickly going to go flip through, but I apologize if the video cuts off before I'm done, because like I said, my battery's dying. And oh, there are, how many? There's a few cards in here anyway. Oh, 1998 it says, 1998. And yeah, I don't know how many cards